What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode here on Reload Crypto. Today we're going to be running through some price charts, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and several altcoins, and I'm going to be showing you guys what I see in the charts and what I see maybe to come in the next couple of days here, next couple of weeks, as well as we're going to run through the trades that I showed you guys in the video yesterday, and we'll keep up to date on all the trades that I show you guys on a day-to-day basis. I may do a couple more in the end of this video that we'll add to the list of trades we're going to keep up on. But that being said, let's go ahead and hop into it. If you enjoy the video, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel so you catch all these daily updates right here on Reload Crypto. Let's get it. Okay, we're going to get started today here on the Bitcoin chart and just run through what I see happening. So as we spoke about, this has been kind of a descending channel, so to speak here, like a smaller descending channel in this overall larger macro trend to the upside. Like we said, these typically break to the upside, and we've been trapped under this 50-day EMA for a couple weeks now, maybe coming up on even a month. So as we see here, we've had this pattern starting to play out, and we're coming up today here, so far up 1%, back towards this 50 EMA. We'll see if we're going to test that again. But there is a possibility that I see here in the chart. As we could see, this does look like it may be an inverse head and shoulders pattern getting ready to print. If that is the case, this will, it would make sense that we would wind up breaking to the upside ultimately after this pattern plays out. Assuming this pattern plays out, we'll keep an eye on it and see if it invalidates or if it validates. But that being said, that would be some confluence for the descending channel, inverse head and shoulders, breakout to the upside, with likely a move to around $90,000 being in the cards. Obviously, we're not going to go straight to $90,000, but I imagine that will be the next major stop that we have, where we sit and it takes some time to move up, another large move from there. If we look here at the chart, we can see this is kind of how it goes, right? We have a move up, and then we just sit and chop sideways. Obviously, this was last year, coming out of the bear market, but now in a bull market, which started back here in October, came up and we chopped sideways here in January for about a month and a half there. Big push up. Now we're here again for about 2 months almost at this point, just chopping sideways, and so the next move up should be coming very soon, I would imagine. Moving down to the 4-hour chart here real quick to analyze this price action. Yesterday we had this green vector candle break to the upside, pushed up, bounced off of this. This is the 200-day or 200 EMA on the 4-hour chart, so it's the 200 4-hour EMA, but this is also the 50 EMA on the daily chart. So like we see here, we pushed up, bounced off of the 50 EMA, came back down, and now we're pushing back up again through this 50 EMA here on the 4-hour chart. I imagine for another test here of the 50 EMA, and we'll follow this today and see how it goes. It's Wednesday here, so in the U.S. markets should be opening up in about 5 minutes, so we'll see how that goes throughout today. Moving on to Ethereum, we'll start here on the 4-hour chart since we're already on it. Similar situation here. We've been bouncing. Well, Ethereum's not even coming up. This would be the 50-day EMA here, which is also the 200 4-hour EMA. We came up, bounced off, came up, ultimately wound up bouncing off, bounce off again here, and now we're struggling even to get above the 50 EMA on the 4-hour chart. But we do have some price action moving to the upside here. We'll see how that plays out. Ultimately, this seems to be kind of the floor, right around $2,860. This has been a place where Ethereum has bounced several times now, 1, 2, 3 times, as well as a spot that we had some resistance on the way up, which wound up even playing out as support after we flipped through it over here. So hopefully, I would imagine we'll bounce from this point and move to the upside. We'll see what happens there. That would be, it would be not surprising to see that happen, but we'll keep an eye on that and see what happens going forward here. Like I said, we've kind of been between the 50 EMA and the 200-day EMA here on the daily chart. So ultimately, this isn't a bad place to be, but it's not really bullish price action, I guess, in terms of the shorter term. So what we would like to see going forward here is a break to the upside above this 50 EMA, and then we'll be back into a bullish move. In the shorter term, even a break above the 5 and the 13 EMA again would be, an indicator of positive price action likely to come. So we'll keep an eye on Ethereum. Hopefully we see something happen in here soon with it. Like I had showed you the other day on the monthly chart here, we are actually now we're a little bit below this 5-month EMA, so hopefully we can get back above that. It's currently sitting at $2,924. I imagine we'll be back above that in a few minutes here. It seems that the price action is quite bullish today, so we'll see how we close the month there, and we will keep track of Ethereum in the meantime in our daily videos. Let's move on to Render. So Render here has played out to what seems to be kind of like a W formation. Double bottom also is another name that you can use for this formation. Price had moved up to the upside here. We bounced off around $13.63, came down. We found support here on the 50-day EMA, came back up, ultimately wound up breaking down with the rest of the market below this 50-day EMA, and found support at this old location where we had support before. Then we had a push up here, broke down with the rest of the market again, and ultimately when Apple did their announcement about the Octane being in the Apple Store, or the App Store, this is when we started to see Render's price action looking real positive, and we've pushed up to the upside. Yesterday was a nice kind of, correction, you could say, or retest of this volatility cloud here. We wicked down to the volatility cloud around the 50-day EMA, and now we're seeing positive price action today, so we'll see how that plays out. Likely this will continue to move up to around the $12 mark, I would say, likely $11.95 or so, and we'll see what happens when we get up there. Moving on to Solana. Solana is currently underneath the 50-day EMA as well, also beneath the 5 and the 13 EMA, so not looking great, but also not looking bad. We are inside the volatility cloud, so we'll keep an eye on Solana and see what goes on there. Ultimately, it's been holding its position in terms of price very well in relation to some of the other altcoins, so great stuff to see. Moving on to ICP. ICP came down, bounced off the 200-day EMA here. I had posted a long trade as a possibility as coming off of this bounce on the 200-day EMA. Likely we will see a push up in ICP to around the $12.85 mark, which is a level of support that we had here, and ultimately just seems like a reasonable place. We'll also be hitting the bottom of this volatility cloud on the 50-day EMA. May continue up from there, but ultimately this is just a scalp trade or shorter term swing trade to take advantage of this bounce off the 200-day EMA. Celestia, price has really broken down here on Celestia, as we know. Ultimately, I think we're going to see a move down to around $7.55 or so, which is right around the bottom of this wick here, also the top of this swing high back in November, right after the launch. So we'll keep an eye on that. There is a possibility that we find support here at $8, but ultimately it's hard to say. We've had quite the breakdown here, so it really will depend on what the market does over the next couple of days here. Goldfinch, also looking pretty good, holding its own above the 50-day EMA. Not going to spend too much time on that. Axelar. So Axelar broke down obviously with the rest of the market, fell beneath the 50-day EMA and the 200-day EMA, which was quite bearish, to be honest. Then we've had this kind of M formation, and we've come down and we're sitting, ultimately found a bounce between these two levels here that I had marked out, which was this range that we bounced in last time. So my guess is that we'll see a bounce here, but we'll have to keep an eye and see how that plays out. We're up 7% today already, so likely my thesis will play out there and we will see a bounce there, but we'll be keeping an eye on that. Pith, similar situation here. We've had this big breakdown. Obviously, we know there's a big token unlock coming here soon. So price broke down from around $1.12 all the way down here at 40 cents. there was a possibility that we would bounce here at 42 cents, but ultimately that fell out. And so the next level of support that I see is at about 38.9, right around 38.9 cents, kind of in that little range there. There's no perfect number to say, but it looks like we did already bounce at 39, or the mid 39 cent range, 39.75 cents. So we'll see what happens there after the unlock. I imagine the lowest we'll see it fall is to this yellow line here at 36 cents, a little under 36 cents. And then worst case scenario would be a breakdown to around 30 cents, and ultimately scorched earth scenario would be a move all the way down to 24 cents or so here, where we bounced way back in January. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. I really don't see it coming down this far. Likely not this far either, but I would say that that would be like worst case scenario. We may come down as far as 36 cents here, but hopefully we see a little bit of a bounce here, price to move up, and then before the 20th, we've come up a little bit, and then when the sell-off occurs on the 20th from retail being afraid of the unlock, then we'll just wind up coming back down to around the 36 cent level, or maybe even a bounce again at the 39 cent level. But we'll be keeping an eye on that, and I'll be keeping you guys up to date. AOS looking like very similar to render. A lot of these AI plays, D-pin plays have been performing very well. W formation ultimately holding the 50 EMA very nicely now that they're back above. So looks like we'll see some continued bullish price action from AOS. We'll be keeping an eye on it. The closest resistance level is around 82.15 cents. So it will have to break above that, between 82 and 82.15 cents. It'll have to break above that before we see another move up above $1 or even towards $1. But in the meantime, price action is looking very nice on AOS. Alt layer, this is one of the trades that I had showed you guys yesterday in the video. We've seen a bounce. Ultimately, if you had took this trade yesterday, you would have wound up getting stopped out. But again, this was only a risk of 3.5%, so it is what it is. That's what happens sometimes. You want to be safe when the bottom falls out like this. You're playing with fire, ultimately, because it's no man's land. You don't know where the price is going to go. That being said, we have seen a pushback up here. This would be a good spot for an entry in terms of a long trade, and you could use these price targets here at 34.2 cents and 37.25 cents for a little possible long swing trade there, maybe about a week and a half before this whole move plays out. But you could catch that with a tight stop loss at 29 cents. That's how alt layer is looking. Let's take a look at Injective. Ultimately, Injective, the short would have not played out. If you did take the short, then you would have been able to take some profits at around $21. The price did fall to around $21, 21.05, so there would have been a quick possibility for a scalp at least there. But as soon as you've seen the price reverse, if you had taken a short, that would have been an immediate get out, in my opinion. Ultimately, still not seeing enough bullish price action here from Injective. We're only up less than 1% on the day in order to take this long trade. If you do take it, it likely will be one that you're going to be in for a couple weeks. Injective is not looking like it has a lot of momentum right now. Pendle has actually caught some nice momentum as well, similar to Axelar here. So this short, you would have wound up getting stopped out if you took it, which ultimately that's the name of the game. It happens sometimes. And again, it was a tight stop loss. I always run a tight stop loss on all of my trades. So if you did take this long trade, so far you're about 6% into a move here, depending on where you got in. Everything's looking nice. We are running into some resistance here on the 5-day EMA, so we'll see if we can break above that. The next spot I would see some resistance likely at would be the bottom of this swing low here on the close of the candle, which is around $4.22. So keep an eye on that. May want to take some profits off the table if you're trading with leverage, which personally I always trade with leverage because I believe that it lowers risk. So again, if you're in the trade, this is a good spot to maybe take some profits off the table, and then hold for the rest of the move and see kind of how that all plays out. Likely we will see the move up to at least close to this range. if we do see a bounce, likely off the bottom of the 50 EMA, it may be a little bit lower. Just track the 50 EMA because we likely will see a rejection there unless the market as a whole starts to show a little bit more bullish of price action. Let's take a quick look at AVAX. Price action is looking okay, I guess, on the daily here. We've fallen below the 200-day EMA, the 800-day EMA, and the 50 EMA, as well as the 5 and 13 EMA. So AVAX has really lost all the momentum that it had gained back here, but ultimately it's holding this level at around $30 pretty nicely. We've seen some wicks to the downside, but closes are all up here at around $31.50. So we'll keep an eye on that. Hopefully we see a break to the upside for all you AVAX holders out there. And I do think that it will be quite the performer in this bull run. So nothing to complain about there. Let's take a real quick look at Hedera for all you Hedera holders out there. We had this big move up, obviously, on that news that we saw, and a big drawdown afterwards. We did see a bounce right off this 800-day EMA here, which is great to see. Broke back above the 50-day EMA, and we are holding a price above the 50-day EMA, which is great to see. Yes, we did have a wick below, but daily closes are all above the 50-day EMA. Great positive price action, and likely we will just kind of chop sideways until the market as a whole starts to make a move up again, or there's some positive news in regards to Hedera. I know it is starting to get some more attention ever since they had that news announcement, which is good for all the Hedera holders out there. I hope that it does perform well in this bull run. I personally am not holding any, but I do wish I had got some when it was 5 cents. That being said, I think that's going to just about wrap it up for the day. If you have some coins that you want to see me cover in this quick technical analysis that I do on the daily basis here, let me know. I'd be happy to do so. I'm not going to throw any trades into the end of this video, but since the market is looking quite bullish, if you are looking for trading opportunities, you can hop into our CoinW Telegram group. You just sign up on CoinW, take your UID, join the screening Telegram group. You'll find the link in the description of Kyron's videos, and then you just paste your account's UID into that screening group, and they will move you into the official CoinW X No BS Telegram trading group. You'll see some signals being dropped in there for different types of trading, and I will be dropping signals in there as well coming real soon here. So if you're looking for trading opportunities, that's a great place to look, but you'll have more from me tomorrow. Real quick on Quant before we go out of here. We've had this real bad looking price action. Broke down here to around $92, which was a swing high back here in October, as well as just kind of a point of interest in terms of candles wicking down, support back here in September of 2022. But ultimately, daily candle closes have been, right around, looks like 92.80 or so. So we'll see what happens going forward here. Not looking real hot. I am still holding some Quant. I was going to sell it in this drawdown and to move the funds into other lower price coins, but ultimately I decided let me hold on to it because right when you sell things, that's when they tend to pump. So don't lose faith. This is how these markets operate. We'll see some drawdowns. We'll see some drawdowns in our favorite coins that we think are doing really well. Some will hold up better than others, but ultimately this is just a healthy correction for the market, and we will see some bullish moves here to come. As we know, all the biggest moves in the stock market and all financial markets happen in just a few days out of the year. So time in the market always beats timing the market. Just remember that. And I hope you enjoyed this video here today on Reload Crypto. Let me know if you have anything you want to see me cover in terms of technical analysis, or if you have some commentary, you think I did a horrible job, you hate what I have to say, or you have a different viewpoint, because some of us do, and that's great. That's one thing I love about reading charts. It's all about psychology and reading the psychology of the trading that went on in that time period that you're looking at. So again, I'm kind of rambling here, but I'll let you guys go. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Subscribe to the channel. Join me here for our daily technical analysis videos. Take care and have a great one. Bye-bye.